Okay, everyone. Action packed, short only trade ideas tournament is coming to a close. We have about an hour left. I have seen $250,000 swings just while we've been setting up the stream here. People losing hundreds of thousands, making hundreds of thousands. So it's going to be super exciting. I'm glad everyone has joined. I can see a lot of you there. If you want to say hi in chat, the idea here is just for the next hour or so, we're going to go over who's trading what, how the tournament went, who's winning, who's losing, all of that super fun stuff. And I am joined with my buddy Steve here. So Steve, say hi to the people.
Hi to the people. Hello, everybody. I'm actually bringing up my pen, so if I do start doing some chart illustrations, even though it looks orange, it's more of a red shirt. I wear red for the symbolic shorting tournament only, short only. If you're just joining us or don't realize, this particular Portfolio Master Challenge in February is the month of shorting. We're teaching people they need to be versatile with their game plan and their abilities. And so, what not a better way to learn how to short than risking fake money? And, honestly, I told people if you can finish the day, if you participated in this and made the requisite 10 minimum trades, and you can finish the week green, you're on the right side of things. You're doing okay. Not everybody is going to, make $500,000 here, like the two people that are currently in the lead, but LVTX, I think, was one of them that I just pulled up. I think one of the participants is short LVTX, but we'll get to that stuff in due time over the hour.
Yeah, so let's just take a second before we hop into charts because there'll be plenty of those for sure. Just to go over again the basic rules. If someone's stumbling upon this, like what are we doing here and why? So the idea is that we understand that paper trading is no fun. And we also understand that most people should paper trade more. So, what we've done at Trade Ideas, we've been doing this for a few months now, is create these tournaments in which a lot of people can come and they can compete and kind of test their prowess against each other. And if you win $2,400 Amazon gift card shipped directly to your Amazon account. So, what's coming out of it is a lot of fun, a lot of good interviews with myself. I'm interviewing the winners, learning a lot from them. You can check them out on the same channel you're watching this on. And then also, people are coming away with better trading knowledge. So this particular tournament was short only, like Steve was saying. There's a lot of traders out there that are long focused that could really do with, hey, I need to learn to short because more bear markets are certainly coming at some point. We don't know when, but no doubt they'll be here. Now, these returns, I don't know what you, Steve, but I actually expected lower returns on the short side than we had in the long tournament, but it's completely the other way around.
Make sure I'm off mute. I did too. Also, not expect to see some of the higher P&Ls over the course of just 3 days. But when you think about it, there's a lot of people that have in their method, they're short traders. Not to get too esoteric, but there's a group out there at Centerpoint Securities, right? Those guys are mad shorters. And when everybody else is chasing the LVTXs long, there's a lot of guys that actually do make money in their accounts just sitting and waiting and dipping their toe in the water. And then when they do sense the turn, they hit it and they hammer it and they double. And the reason they do that is because you can make some good money real quick. And so I happen to know that there are people that do that. Again, at Centerpoint Securities, not to plug them, but they're a great location for short sales. That's the reason a lot of these short guys go to them, is because they are excellent at locating short certificates to borrow against and go short. And so, to answer your question, maybe we shouldn't be surprised that these returns are as good, because things go up slowly, but they come down in an elevator quick. And you catch a couple of those down elevators quick over the course of a couple of days, then yeah, it can be done.
Well, and I think that's kind of the theme that I've been seeing as I've been watching this is compounding, right? We started with a $400,000 account, and a lot of people have been compounding that account into different trades. So, for example, I was right here, and Dan, our CEO, was number 2 and 3 until like an hour ago. And then you can see this LVTX, which is what a lot of people are trading. If we zoom into a 10-minute chart here, you can see just kind of completely fell out of bed. So I've seen people from this leaderboard just go from second place to completely off the leaderboard and then back. And I think what's happening in a lot of cases is just that people are compounding their accounts very quickly, where maybe 2 seconds ago they were down a little bit of money and they just come back, and if they can get something that gets them back on track, and then they're compounding those gains in. So a lot of these people have some big positions. So what me and Steve are going to be doing anytime you see us kind of look away like this is we have access to the back end. So we have the access to what people are trading, and where, and where is the action taking place. So we've got our eyes on what's going on there. So I was doing just that while you were talking, Steve, and you're right. Oliver here, we have in a pretty massive short position in this LVTX, and it
Yeah.
looks like, what's his
He's getting
average?
paid as we speak. He's
Yeah,
pulling away as we speak here. As every red tick that you see on there, Oliver, that's his one and only trade. He's probably all in on that sucker, and he's just trying to distance himself from Backside Bob.
yeah.
Great name and great avatar too, Backside Bob.
And now what is, let me pop into him while you're in. What's Oliver's average price? I'm going to take a look here, Bob, and see, because we noticed last time that we did this, I'm sure you remember, it got a little bit dicey because we're on Thursday, we're getting near the end of the day, there's not a lot of time left. So we found that a lot of people were actually in the same stocks trying to battle it out. But if you guys have the same position, you're not going to catch up. And yeah,
447,
yeah. So Backside
just
Bob's
under
here
450.
with a better price of 514. But the same thing, has his whole account in this particular trade. So that won't help him. If
It's
he's going
like
to
the
catch up,
Jeopardy
he's good.
moment. Michael, at the end, it's like, do you have enough to risk, going into a final Jeopardy? You
Yeah.
don't, Backside Bob and Oliver on the same. He's got a better price than Oliver. Oliver's at 447 short, but he's probably got a bigger bankroll going into that size.
Yeah, so I don't know if we've got definitely a bunch of views here. I don't know if Bob is here, but if you are, you've got to find another playground to play in. I just want to quickly walk, just in case people are new here and they don't understand what we're looking at. This is something you can access both on the web at trade-ideas.com and on your downloaded version, where even if you're not competing in the competition, if you're not, you should. Why wouldn't you? Because if you're a premium subscriber at Trade Ideas, you have access to all of these, just part of the package on top of AIs and charts and all the cool stuff we do. You get access anyway, so you might as well play. But we've done some cool things. So right here is obviously the leaderboard. We're adding more functionality in this in the future, but it shows that, hey, Oliver, he's only up $8,000 now in the trade. Makes me think he's paring down as this thing's coming against him. And we have Backside Bob up 195,000, and you can see not only that they're trading and that they're up, but also if you go down here, we have a couple ways to visualize what they're trading. So if I do this change from the open, you can see all of these trades, all of these symbols right here are being ranked by how much they're up from the opening price. This all updates in real time and shows what people are trading. So obviously, if something's up 87% from the opening price and you're a short seller, that's going to be a place you're going to look. Also down here, we have our races. This shows what's moving in the moment as it's moving. And as it's going through, you can see this SOUN is popping up. So these are the names that people are trying to take bets on to short. And again, I love this as it's replaced most of my intraday scanners with Trade Ideas, because I'm just letting them do the work for me. However they're finding the scans, it's just funneling it right to me without me having to do anything.
So, as you were speaking, I was just kind of going through my dismal performance. I didn't really do that well, but truth be told, I had 19 different distractions throughout the last couple of days. And you know, when I was trying to get something working, essentially I was just kind of hunting for big gappers. Gappers. I went, looked on the opening gaps. For instance, Like, well, if you want to click over to my desktop, I'll show you
Absolutely.
the concept. There we go. So what I've got here is this what we call a tree map. All I did was take our morning pre-market channel and turn that into what we call a tree map or a heat map, is what other companies or people might call it. And these are frozen though. This just gives me a quick frozen idea of what were some of the biggest gappers on the day. And when I'm trying to play something short and make money in a short period of time, kind of like I was talking earlier about the actual traders at Centerpoint who do this, what I was looking for is things that had gapped up on the day. And I just pulled up an example here. I didn't trade this, but this is what I was looking for. I would let stuff just, work on the day, but I kept checking in on these names, checking in on these names. And the minute that they broke, and some of you follow me, my method, I love this 10 period moving average on a 15-minute chart. The minute they break and close below that 10-minute moving average, I feel the momentum is done for the day. So these were the kinds of trades, that I was, trying to pick on. Can try another name here, Sidhu. Sidhu. Looks like that one wouldn't have done anything at all. It gapped up and just kept going higher. But I would look for there's absolutely no play to be had on that one, so I wouldn't touch that one at all. Let's see SCTL where that one is. Just as we're kind of waiting out here, yeah, not much really on the gap higher. It's that might even be an acquisition or something else. So as I move through the charts throughout the day, I just try to keep my eye on what's breaking down midday. Yeah, that's an acquisition. That's not even on the board. So that's the only way I think you can really try to create some alpha and some excitement is find the stuff that's moving up and then keep an eye on it. And once it breaks a key moving average, for me, the 10 SMA on a 15 chart, that's time to get short.
So, yeah, I can talk about my strategy here as well, which is a little bit different. Well, it's actually kind of the same, but what I did is I took this same kind of tree map you have up here, but for yesterday. So, if Steve, I know you, if you want to go and show people how to grab the history on that, because
Sure.
part of my theory, and this is just from my experience trading for a while, is day one you're either going to get the biggest bang for your buck or you're going to get blown out entirely. So what we're trying to do is we're trying to figure out, for me, what moved yesterday. And I've been playing day two plays, and I've been playing them kind of the same way you were talking about, Steve, where I would use for me it's the 80 MA, for you it's the 10 SMA. It's roughly going to be the same thing, but I would look for that second day break. And I know I didn't tell you this because I know you called out SOUN to anyone who watches the podcast, which again, check out. It's up every Sunday on this channel as well. Go back to my screen here. I actually had, so I'm on the leaderboard here. I'm falling rapidly. But yeah, this was my game plan where I would go. So we did the podcast on Friday, and if you missed it and you're not getting the trade of the week, you definitely should, because this was the action on Monday. Just absolutely insane, from $4 to 6, and then it gapped up in the after hours here, gapped all the way up to $8. So doubled in 2 days. So I'm not going to get it on that first day that it's running, because again, part of my theory was there's some probably people shorting it and they're getting run over and so on and so forth. So I waited to day two, and when it failed at this level right here, that's when I took my initial short. So it broke through the pre-market high, it failed there, and I shorted that and I held it for a few days. But I had to get out because look, we're right back there. So, which I think comes to a pretty good lesson, which is I think you're way better. And again, correct me if I'm wrong, Steve, if you don't agree, but I think you're way better holding long positions for a longer period of times than you are short. Like I had SOUN from I think like 750 down to 650. But if I had tried to hold for any length of time, it just blew right out. So I think that might be causing this compounding effect we're seeing in our traders, that they're just give me my money, let me get out over and over and over again.
If I was playing with that kind of real size, that's what I'd be doing. Just book it, book it, book it.
Yeah. So we have some we got a shake up here. So we have Oliver
Mm-hmm.
losing, now down $75,000 in his current
Oh,
position, and backside Bob up. So why don't you check on Oliver and let me go check on what Bob's doing, who's up 130,000 in their position. Now, remember last
the
time,
lead
Steve,
is tightening. Yes.
the last time, well, when we were up here last time, we had a guy just he was in first place and just completely blew out. So, I see so Bob still has some LVTX, but is also short this SIDU I can see down here as well. So that's what's happening with Bob. So Bob's making a play for it, short a hundred
Okay.
thousand shares, almost $1 million
And
worth of this guy.
look what just happened. If you notice, I was watching the leaderboard here. Oliver had a zero open profit. He had nothing. So he noticed that he was slipping and backside Bob was catching him. So now he just opened up a new trade and he's down 75 grand in that trade. So kind of the same thing happening here.
So we got 45 minutes left. I've just tweeted out the stream. I sent that to Dan to tweet out the stream too. So let's get some people in here. Again, I know we've got some viewers here. If you like what you're seeing, if you're having fun here, make sure you send this around. I think this is a lot of fun. Uh, there's time for the learning of what these people do, and that comes on this very same channel. So make sure you're subscribing to it later, where I'm going to reach out to all of the winners here, and they're going to come onto the channel if they want, and I'm just going to chat with them about, hey, what'd you do? What scans we're using in trade ideas in order to find the symbols? What was generally your plan around this? So that's all really fun, and there's a whole bunch on the channel already if you want to check them out with prior winners. But now we're just kind of having fun, right? These guys, they've got a little bit left. They're swinging for it. They're more, I think, doing kind of your style, Steve, where they're not waiting for the second day. He's trying to pick the top on this one right now. Now, one thing I wanted to point out, so we have these picture-in-picture charts in the bottom. So this down 99.17%. This is a weekly chart. So this is showing from this high right here that this stock is down 99.17%. So I think if I were to get in this guy's head about why he's short this particular name, it's like if the stock's down 99% and then pops, out of nowhere is up 67% today, it's probably not like a really great company that's going to set the world by fire. It's probably more just like a momentum filled rally that he's trying to catch the top on. But now we only have, what, $50,000 between them? 25,000 now.
No, it just updated.
Yeah. You're muted there for a second, Steve, I think.
I think we're good now, right?
Yeah, you're all good.
Yeah. Oh, and then we just had another big bump right here.
So is Oliver still in just that VYTX, or what's he?
I
Let's
don't
look
know.
here.
He back up again. Was down 75,000 1 second, and now he's back up again, closed position.
I am a little bit biased. So you see third place. I don't know if he's got a shot in this one, but see third place with Lazar.
Yeah, Lazar.
Lazar was our winner 2 challenges ago. Yes, 2 challenges ago. And I interviewed him, and that was a great time. So when I saw him, and if we go down to Paul right here, Paul was battling. He came out the gate really, really strong. He was first place for I think the first day and a half. Did really, really well here, and then just kind of faded away. But still, talking about almost a 50% gain in 3 days. You can't scoff at that. And this was the winner of the last challenge. So it's very interesting, and as someone who's doing all the content, I'm content brained about it now, but it's really interesting to see the same people on the leaderboard over and over and over again, because it shows there's not just dumb luck, that these people are able to Paul, for example, I think is a perfect one, because our last challenge was a long only challenge, the complete opposite. You couldn't short any stocks, you had to go long, and he won and he excelled in that one. And now we're into a short only challenge, and he's doing well. So it shows that whatever he's doing for a trading style, it's not just dumb luck, right? You don't, there's hundreds of people in the tournament. You don't get to the top 10, in my opinion, twice in the row on dumb luck. It means you're learning something and you're doing something that has some sort of repeatable edge to it.
You go back to my screen for a second because I want to
Sure.
point something out. I'm watching in real time here. Oliver had 750,000 shares short at just under like 390. Now he's still short net 500,000 at an average price of 388. Now he's back into 750,000 short, average price of 390. But here's what I want to show you. I think he's fighting a headwind right here because this is everybody that hears me talk over and over. This rising 10 SMA is going to create some support now, albeit we are in the last hour. We'll see here, but I think you're going to see a fight. You know, what's the low end of this candle here? I don't know, 371. Let me get kind of a cross here. Look, 370. Okay, now we're bouncing up around the $4 level, and he's stuck in 750,000 share, 800,000 shares now. He's short. He's going all in, and average price of 391. But my point is, he keeps averaging in. He's looking for something that I don't know if he's going to get a break below this 10 SMA. I just feel like me personally, this is your target zone. This is where I'd be taking my profits and looking to go to something else, but he's going to the well. He's trying to just stick with what's been working. And for me, technically, I think this is going to be a bounce zone. I'm going to predict we're going to be back in the $4 level here, maybe in the next couple of minutes. We'll see. But he's got
Well,
800,000 short.
and
Now he's
not.
got 1 million short now.
Oof. Yes. Wait,
He's going for it.
and I think you're right. And it's not just because of the level; it's also how it got to the level. So what the high there is
Yes.
650. So it's 650 down to 4 in 3 giant red candles. Right? It's not like it's meandered and taken its time there and it's based. Um, what we're looking at is okay. If you're a dip buyer, might be a place that you're gonna slam in some and give a shot there. If you're short, like I'm looking here at Bob. Bob is short from a much higher price. He's still short some from 514. So someone like Bob, if we're in the real world, who's short that much money and is up, 150K on the trade, he's going to be buying. So the dip buyer and the guy who's covering his short, that's what's going to create after this big flush down to an area like that. And $4 being a whole number, I think that's what's going to create some support there.
Covered, and then he got short again. So kind of some manic trading. It's not really, that's what he's choosing to do, in and out, in and out. And now he's getting a good red candle, but he only has 250,000 shares. He didn't have nearly the amount of size he had 3 minutes ago. But yeah, he's getting his prices now. We got back on lows. See, it's bucking my theory of that level of support. It's
Well, but
being lost now.
you got to remember, Bob he still has that 100,000 shares short. I'm refreshing here. I
Oh,
don't see him covering.
he piled back into 1 million shares short, and Oliver did. Now, one big bounce on this wick, and he's going to regret adding to that probably on lows. We'll see what happens.
Yeah, and we still have, if I go back to mine, we still have Bob here is still short this name, 100,000 shares. So he's got 100,000 of LVTX short, and he has got 100,000 of this SIDU short as well. If it was me, and I'm more of just a technical guy, I'm looking at this as a rising wedge, and I'm saying, hey, rising wedges generally resolve pretty bad to the downside. So this trend line break that I'm seeing right here, I think if we get this trend line break and maybe a 10 or 15 minute close below this and some continuation lower, I like this trade way more than the LVTX one. But I'm also ninth place now on the list, so maybe I shouldn't be listening. We do have some names. We had so look at this loss right here. I'm gonna go investigate this. This Mr. G2 was for a second there our winner, resoundingly. I think was over 1 million shares, and now is stuck in a massive loser, down $500,000. And guess what it is? It's LVTX again. So his
Yes,
price
deer in
is
headlights.
315
Mm.
with 1 million shares.
So I keep hitting refresh here on Oliver, and I'm figuring out what he's doing. He's got 250,000 share chunks. He'll leg him at 250, and then he'll go 500, sometimes 750. Oh, he just got his pricing in. So he's booking profits, and that's what he is doing. But it seems like he's trading in 250,000 share chunks here on this small $3 stock
It will work if, right? It doesn't,
back into nothing,
scalping like that,
back to
right,
flat.
will only help if, right? It will help if you get your price,
Are on the
right?
right side. Yeah.
Because the
Uh,
problem with scalping out of your trade like that is, that's picking pennies up in front of a steamroller. If you short 1 million shares and then you're very quickly taking, 250, 250, 250 out, that's great because you're booking profits, but eventually you're going to be short that 1 million shares and the thing's just going to rip up against you. And all these small gains that you get are going to get wiped out by a big loss, which again is why I think Bob still has a chance here. And Ed, let's take a look at Ed. Ed's up $230,000 on this trade. I wonder if it's also LVTX, which is this is the benefit, I think, too. Yes, he's also short. So this chart, this LVTX, seems to have the day. The only one in the top handful of trades that I see who doesn't have this position on, or has another position on, is Bob here. So we've got a chance now if we get a reversal up in this name, or if the name Bob's in kind of tanks here. There's a chance for a catch up here for sure, with still 30 minutes left in the day.
I wouldn't be resting on my laurels. Oliver's just still cranking away over there. He goes into 250,000, then 500, then 750, then he takes his profit. So he's a micro scalper over here in this LVTX. I don't know what he's using for his real time information. He might have level 2 going over there. Who knows?
Yeah, he could just be riding this trend here as well. The issue with this is, again, you can just get completely rolled over, right? If you're going in that big and you're scalping out slowly over time, I worry because it's pennies in front of a steamroller. Again, if he
Mhm.
shorts 1 million shares and this thing rips against him, he has to have the discipline to cut that quick, or right, any kind of a bounce that gets you back above 4 at this level could just destroy everything.
These types of trades usually end of day. The day traders are trading on margin. They need to square up, so to speak, and so you do start to see a lot of profit taking going into the close sometimes. Um, this one LVTX, it definitely came through the levels that I thought would hold up there around 390, but it looks like it didn't.
So we have, I guess, is this our Andy? Do you know? Do you see
What's
this?
it say? What's the name?
Well, he has the
Andy
username.
ATM?
Just the fourth place.
I don't know if that's going to be him. Let's see.
Well, yes, it is. I'm
It
looking
is
at
him. Yeah.
yeah. So we
Andy
have
949. Yeah.
so we have three in the top 10 of Trade Ideas people. We have Andy right here. And again, if anyone's followed the channel, if you join the Q&A live streams, you've seen Andy. He does a lot of the swing trading wrap up, with it doubled his money in 3 days doing that. And then if we scroll down, we obviously have Dan, CEO of Trade Ideas, with a very respectable 300K. And then we have me right here with about the same, but well, less than Dan. I'm sure I won't hear the end of that for the next few weeks. Just
I'm
showing
on the next
again,
page somewhere.
we're not,
Yeah.
we're not just. It's one thing that I really agree with Dan and his hiring practices, is that the guys that you see here in Trade Ideas that are front facing like this, we actually trade. We put our own money on the line in the market. We all have different styles and time frames, and I'm algorithmic, and Chris, you'll see out there, he's more of a day trader, and Jamie scalps a lot, and Andy, I think it's interesting. He's kind of made for this competition. He's very much a revision to the mean type of dude. But we're all traders, and I think that's one of the things that makes Trade Ideas so awesome, is that if you put just a bunch of devs in a room and said made a great trading product, I don't think it's going to come out nearly as well as if you put a bunch of traders in a room and say, okay, what is it that you want to help you make money in the market? And let's build that. And then we go from there. So, three here. I'm looking for someone to shame in the company. Excuse me while I scroll down. Well, really, this is interesting. So, like, I was kind of joking with the shame thing, but I'm down at the bottom, and I honestly expected blowouts. Like, we gave you a $400,000 account. I expected someone to lose $1 million or so. Worst case person's down 150 grand, which wouldn't feel nice, but you know, they're showing there's some risk management going on.
That's an interesting bell curve. You would think it would be kind of equally dispersed, maybe.
I expected someone down like $2 million, right? You just
Well,
short
on the
400
last
grand,
day,
which
in the
is
last
enormous.
hour, that's all you got to go. You've
Yeah.
already given up your humility, and you don't even care anymore. Just go for it. We're getting an LVTX bounce, a green candle. So I hope Oliver looks like he's closed position at that point. He's pretty quick to take his money and run.
Yeah.
Um,
And I'm looking
let's
here
see.
at,
No, it looks like he's still in trade.
oh, Bob's opened a new position in a J JL. What's JL? Whoa. What is this? Bob, what are you doing? I don't know if I agree with this at all,
Hail
Bob.
Mary. It's the fourth quarter.
Yeah.
It's Hail Mary time.
At one, like $2, he shorted
Or
now
something is
300,000
already
shares.
down 85% on the day. It's already down. I don't know what else you want to get out of it.
What's the news on this guy? What's this JL JL news? What happened? $30 today down to $2. Oh
What country
well,
is that from?
Hong Kong. That makes
Okay.
some sense. We've seen China do this before. JL declares a special cash dividend.
Doesn't look special to me.
Yeah, I don't know what's going on here, but I don't know. Again, I like an underdog, so I'm kind of rooting for Bob here. But now, again, 300,000 shares of $2 stock. We're talking way less of a position than some of these people trading these big guys, but it's 500, $600,000 in this company. I don't know. I see Chris Varley in
Oh,
chat.
yeah, I was going to mention if there's anybody on the YouTube feed you want us to talk about something or look at a chart. We still got 27 minutes in this contest. It appears that Oliver does have his eyes clearly in the rearview mirror and staying a couple turns ahead of backside Bob, keeping him to his backside. So that being said, if anybody wants us to look at some charts or has any questions, please pop them in the YouTube live stream there.
I think you're right. I think you're right about Oliver. And I think that's what I'd be doing too, because we give you this information so quickly. So if I'm up like 200K, well, first of all, I'm listening to the stream and we're telling what the other person's in. So
That would be wise.
that might be helping him if he's tuning in for sure. But yeah, I would have this open. I would say, listen, I've got 30 minutes left. I would be using obviously trade ideas. I'd be scanning and I'd probably have two or three ideas on deck and I'd just be waiting because if his P&L, I'd be hoping that Bob, messes up and that this JL bounces on him and that would take care of that. But yeah, I'm watching this really really closely, and if I have to take a trade, I'm punching in. But I'm having my ideas like lined up on deck, and I'm like my chart trading and everything is ready to go, and I'm just hitting the button. But otherwise, I'm not doing anything. Right, I'm trying to coast to the end at this point with 25 minutes left to go. So the leaderboard's pretty
Other
stuck.
one that is tough. Like I was looking at AI, but then I kept staying away from that because it's off earnings. You don't really want to short a stock that's gapping up big because of earnings. There's just too many people on the wrong side of the lifeboat trying to get to the other side for you to expect a giant reversal in those. You're better off playing something that's already run for a day and a half, and maybe it was on, some sort of, I don't know, speculative or upgrade or news or something, but it just gets way ahead of itself. The stuff that's up over 100%. Those are the ones that you can get a little bit of reversals on if you're adept and you could have good timing. But I just bring up AI. I kept looking at that one because it's up big on the day, but then the earnings are just staring you right in the face. And just like I wouldn't buy a stock that had poor earnings and it gapped down, you don't want to buy it that next day. You want to wait 3 days for the real short. I mean, the real stubborn sellers to just finally get squeezed out and say they can't take it anymore. That's when you find the Warren Buffett type of value.
Yeah, because what I see happening a lot in this challenge is people are looking. So these picture-in-picture charts we have at the bottom, that's showing you the long-term performance of these stocks, right? So we have LVTY. This is down just from 2022 down to date. It's down 50%, and that's with this massive move. It's still down this 43%. So they're not shorting good companies like Kodak. So this thing's popping out of nowhere. If we go to a long-term chart of Kodak, this has just been like a disaster show, right? This, who uses Kodak stuff anymore? I think it had some meme love and then just completely kind of fell apart after that. So they seem to be looking at these charts and saying, okay, let's find junky companies that seem to be popping for little to no reason, as opposed to what you were talking about with AI. Unless you're reading the earnings report, like that could have been a really good earnings report. It could be a justified move like that. But I think Kodak's going to halt here. I think that's going to be, because I just saw that pop up, so I have no idea who's in it. But yeah, that could halt to the upside. So we may be seeing a blow up right now.
Yeah, that's complete Hail Mary period. And I don't blame them. I'd be doing the same. You're running out of time. It's like you just got to throw, haymaker punches and see if something lands.
Well, looks like it saved itself from halting and pulled back a little bit. I'm just scanning through the top here. Looks like my boy Lazar has given up, or he's just right away from his desk. But no, it's not Bob. We have Oliver taking another trade here. Oliver is the one trading Kodak. He shorted? He tried to. Oh, he got out for a little bit of a hit. So Oliver took some Kodak short, took 160,000 shares short at $5, and when it ran through there, just immediately killed the position. So he's probably keeping it tight because he's worried about blowing up at that point. But that was, I don't know if I agree with that, Oliver. That if that halted right there, you're not getting out. It could gap up and you could be gone.
What that news is, I'm gonna look it up. Just go to Twitter, hashtag Kodak, see what they're talking about.
So yeah, that was a danger. Ended up being right if he had held on. Do we have? Wait, did I click on that right? Yeah, we have Backside Bob also in Kodak here, 200,000 shares short at 491. So you're right, Hail Mary time coming in here. He's like, okay, I got to find something that's going crazy. Again, this is what let me go over and show you guys. This is what we do at Trade Ideas. I guarantee you, I don't even need to know. If I go over to our market scope right here, I know that, yeah, Kodak is going to be right front and center. So it's very easy using the Trade Ideas product to say, okay, what's going on? So that's where he found it.
Explores tapping pension funds, 1.2 billion surplus. Pension fund has a surplus? That's what's actually blowing my mind. Okay.
Well, wait, does that mean they're going to take
That's the headline.
The pension fund to try
moving
to fund their
cash to a new ledger? I don't know, but that's the headline.
Okay. Well, we have 225,000 shares from Oliver at 491. So he got in right under that $500 point, and then we had Oliver who had taken the trade but got out, and then we have Backside Bob taking the same trade just to see if we end up. Yeah, so he's out of this SIDU that we were talking about earlier. Right? Probably just not enough action. Still looks like a good trade, but at some point you got to say, I've got 20 minutes left, right? I got to go.
Still short Kodak and some LVTX there, Bob.
Yeah, so yeah, he's short LVTX. Again, if it was me, I'd probably be punching the ticket on this. This is just down so much. Unless you're planning, unless you think it's going to round trip entirely today. Like if we go to the daily candle, it could, but I don't know. If it's me, I'm punching my ticket at this point on this one. But again, I think I'm off. No, I'm still here. I thought I was off the leaderboard. So
He's even adding to the Kodak short there. Why not?
that's got to be your Hail Mary, right? If
Yeah, 488 average.
yeah,
So
I think it rejecting the halt, right? So I do, you guys, I talk a lot with the guys at Trader TV, and one thing that they use our product a lot for is halt pricing. And one, I was talking to them when I was there in their office one time, and one trade that someone in their office does and is pretty successful with it is what he calls halt rejection. If it gets right up to the halt price and then pulls down, then that's when he takes his short, because the idea is that if there's somebody defending it from they're worried about not being able to get a sell price if it halts and then gaps down. That's an interesting trade. So maybe he's doing something like that, or maybe he just knows there's 20 minutes left, and I gotta find something that's gonna move, and either be a hero or die a villain, one of the two.
Kodak, I don't know if it's going to do much for him. Going to be enough in time. But, it's still close enough to where anything could happen in 18 minutes. You never
Well,
know.
and I don't think he needs to get close enough to make Oliver nervous. Is it kind of my goal?
Mhm.
Oh, you see, so Oliver's in a position here as well. If it's Kodak,
Kodak, yeah. And he's at 466, 50,000 shares.
so is that a hedge? Is that what you do in this scenario? Do you try to look at do you come to the stream? Do you say, okay, if my opponent's in Kodak, if I can just mirror his
Mhm.
position somewhat closely, uh, then I can make sure he doesn't catch up? Is that what's going on here?
This is the evolution of strategy.
I love it, man. Oh, but he's get nowhere near the position size though.
Like when you come around the last lap of the Indianapolis 500, we've all seen it, right? What's the leader doing? He's looking in his rear view mirror. The guy tries to pass someone on the left, he goes to the left. Pass someone right, he goes to the right. He's like, no, you're not going to pass me. So if he's listening to us, that's what you do. You just hedge what the other guy's doing.
But oh, he got close there for a second. I saw almost $1 million
Yeah.
on Bob. Yeah, this
Oh,
is I think this is
he
going to be the
flatted that
trade
position.
unless something else occurs. Again, I this is why you look at things like our market scope. Um, because this change in the last 30 minutes, this is going to show you this stuff as it's happening. Because I don't, unless you had insider information, you're not predicting that Kodak at 20 minutes till the
Nope.
end of the day.
Oliver's back in a Kodak short and it's going against him.
Well,
462.
it's going against one, it's going against the other, right? That's the because yeah, so Bob has emptied out everything and has assigned his entire account to this Kodak short. So he's got 575,000 shares short at 476. So that's $2.7 million worth of buying power. Again, this is why it's fun, right? You learn something, you trade, but Steve, and you were in the prop firm game too, right? You start on the paper trader, but that's just no fun, right? So if we can make it fun, then you can enjoy yourself while you're learning to trade, and I think that's kind of the whole point here.
I just wonder if this thing pukes down to the 430s. Is there enough share size for Bob to overtake? Because he's got a hell of a lot more shares than Oliver does. If you're listening,
Math.
Oliver, you better big
Well,
math, quick math.
so 10% on this would be 40 cents. Um, He's got 2.7 million in, so 10% of 2.7 million. So yeah, if it gets about a
Oliver's
40%
flat.
move,
Oh,
that
Oliver's flat and it's going back up.
see that's what he needs. He needs yeah, about a 40-cent move, which gets us around 420. Um the funny number. And yeah, if it gets to around 420 with his current position size, then he has that cushion.
That'd be a big reversal.
That would be a big reversal. But you said it's just them, I don't want to say stealing, but just borrowing from their pension plan.
Some silly hedge fund where they journaling from one column to another.
Yeah, it's not like, hey, because I think what they do now is, because obviously no one buys cameras. I think it's like basically a chemical company now, isn't it? They're supposed to do something with chemical manufacturing. Uh, so that doesn't seem like it's a good.
I'm sure they're trying to reinvent themselves. They're probably going to take that money to use for R&D for whatever it is they're trying to reinvent themselves with.
Oh no, I
Pension
think
fund. Somebody just got blown out there. It's just
yeah,
going back to highs.
I think that might be the end. That might be the end of Bob.
I think so. Next refresh is not going to look so good.
No, he's still. I refreshed the back end system. He still has his entire position. But really, at this point, you got 14 minutes left. So at this point, YOLO, right? Yeah, there it is, ticking down
489.
120,000.
Oliver says he's seen enough at 489, so he jumped back in to go to short some more at 489 in Kodak. But he's doing it with small size, manageable size. So if he's wrong, it's paper cuts.
Yeah, because it's not at this point. It's not about making money. It's about hedging the second place guy, and you have to be. And I guess even if you weren't watching the stream, it'd be fairly simple if you were looking at this leaderboard and you
Hmm.
notice that as Kodak ticks down, your the
And
guy
you
right
see,
behind you ticks up, right?
open profit, when it goes to zero and then it comes back in, and so you kind of know when they go flat or when they jump back into something.
Yeah. No, and then we have. So I don't think we have anyone that stands a chance. Again, I'm. Let's go creep on our buddy Andy. Let's see what he got up to. I did look at Erica's trade right there. Look at this, 87 symbols in the last 3 days. So Erica's been busy. Erica's been working. We
COCH is what Andy shorted.
I saw that
Working on
down
the
here.
second day, which I like, day and a half. Things can break quickly, but this one hasn't broken. It's just kind of hanging there.
Oh, I see. Yeah. So it had this massive move yesterday, a little bit of continuation today, faded out there pretty early, around lunchtime. So that's probably what he's betting on, is a continuation down here. Yeah, so I think it's all Kodak now. I think that's going to be the only stock that decides the winner with 12 minutes left to go. I think there's just YOLOs after YOLOs right here. Yeah, 675,000. He added another, so now he has $3.2 million short on Kodak.
One trader's swinging for the fence, and the other one's hitting bunts. God,
It's
I can't stop with the sports analogies today because
it's
I feel like we're in a booth, watching a live event.
well, I don't know about you. I'm having a lot of fun. I enjoy these, and um, I think one of the reasons that makes me like them so much is because as someone I'm going to reach out to all of you. So if any of you are in the stream, stay tuned to my email, and maybe I'll even get Andy on there. And I'm going to interview you, and I'm going to ask about how you did it and what you use trade ideas for and all that. So I see both the fun side, which we're having now, but then I also see the educational side. So let me tell you a little bit about Paul, who I interviewed last time, just off the leaderboard now. But I may call Paul again if he wants to hang out. The Paul is an algorithmic futures trader, is where he came from. Never traded stocks before until he saw our contest. And he said, this is a really good, engaging way for me to try my futures strategy, my algo that I have in futures, and then apply that to the stock market and see if it works. And then again, last time he won. So I see that, yes, it's fun, you know, they're taking massive positions and everything's going crazy, and that's a lot of fun. But then when I talked to Paul and I talked to Lewis, Lewis was an engineer who again was a long only trader, and he was working on a strategy as well. So I see that these people are having fun, but at the same time they're learning about trading, and it's like that's something that we're doing that no one else is, right? Because you should paper trade, especially if you don't have a system down, and but it's boring. Paper trading sucks, but if we can make it a little bit more interesting, maybe we can teach people to trade in a safe way.
Hi, as you were speaking.
Sorry, what's that? You're cutting out, I think, for just the first word or so that you say.
Kodak made a new high as we were speaking. I'll reset my USB.
Sure. But yeah, this is what it's, yeah. So Bob is just, yeah, getting killed now with this 200, nearly $250,000 down on this Kodak move. And I think I'm checking here. I think he's at a powder. I think he's got, yeah, he's got a $675,000 worth of 675,000 shares, $3.2 million, and he's at 478. So for him to even get back to profitable, he's got to dip down to that kind of 478 mark, which is, just draw that in. Let's draw in his average right about there. So
The way
above
this last hour shapes up. I'm sorry.
I think I think it changed your mic input there.
Is it working?
It is, but you sound like you're talking to me from the heavens in an echoey voice.
Yeah.
The So I think you're not going to see anything from Oliver. I think he's watching Kodak, and he obviously can tell whether he's in the stream or not what Bob's in Kodak, and he's just sitting back, and he's like, okay, if Kodak continues to grind higher, I know I've got this in the bag. But yeah, I think if you see Kodak right back down around under 5 anyway, I think that's when you're going to see Oliver get active again.
How about now?
Perfect.
Okay, I think I had the wrong headset selected on the eCam.
Cool. Yeah, so I think that's going to be it for if you're watching, I'm not giving anyone tips, but if I was Oliver, I have Kodak up and maybe some other trades on deck, and then I'm waiting. You know, if Kodak continues to grind, I know that Bob's kind of all in at this point. So it's either gonna, it's like there'd be one guy in the stream that gets this, but I used to play StarCraft, and it's like real time chess, like on crack, like real time 5D chess, and I used to compete in it, and there was always a moment in that game, in every single one of those games, where you're just all in at that point. It's like poker, right? There's a moment in every hand of or every game of poker where you're like, screw it, I've only got this left. The blinds are getting too big for what I have, and I gotta push all in. And I think that's what's happening now. As you see Kodak, let's go to a 1 minute chart. As you see Kodak putting in this little bull flag and breaking higher. 6 minutes left.
Steroid Olympics. You're seeing things here at the last minute that people would just normally wouldn't do with their own money. Like you said, it's a poker tournament. These are poker chips.
Exactly. Well, we have Lazar, who we talked about, who's, maybe he's got some personal things to do and he's not at his screens right now. He's got pushed into second place just by not being here. So maybe sometimes that's the best trading strategy.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Bob down to fourth. I would still like, if you're here, Bob, stay tuned to my email. I'd still like to chat with you when all this is done.
That would be fun to talk about.
Well, and for him to get there and to be into first place for a while, I want to know how he did all that. This last bit is, right, a YOLO to see if he can win the tournament. But he didn't YOLO to get here, right? He's traded 15 different symbols. So he certainly didn't YOLO to get here. So we'll talk about how you got here, and then the fun we had while things didn't go your way.
Well, I hope Oliver's ready to tell us how he did it too.
Yes, and again, Oliver, Lazar. I don't know if you're here, but I chat with him frequently now after our conversation. I'll be reaching out to you. Andy, I know you're listening because I saw in our company Slack there. Maybe you pop on as well. We'll get some content going for the channel. We can talk a little bit about how you did it. And we
Top
have
three now.
we have Madaz actually, who is a friend of the company and an affiliate. Obviously being far more conservative than a lot of our
Good.
traders, but I've seen him in, 7th to 10th place throughout the whole time.
Let me just say,
Go ahead.
if you're an influencer out there and you have service and you have a room and a Discord and you're somebody people and you put your name and your reputation on the line and come in here and trade and you're green, more power to you. That's, there's a lot of influencers out there who don't have the stones to probably come in here and put their name on it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and it's great. Again, I've seen consistency with Madaz here. There hasn't been giant up and giant down. He's been grinding. Now, I just brought up AMC because this is my short. I took the short into the winner. I know I'm not going to win. I just don't want to have to hear the CEO talk smack to me for the next 2 weeks until we get the next competition going about how he beat me. So, because I just noticed that he is flat and I have this position on. So, again, I'm rooting for myself, but not to win the tournament, but just to not get chastised for a while here. So yeah, we have Oliver first. We have Lazar second, being second away from his keyboard, which again is sometimes the best trading strategy you can get. We have our own Andy Lindoff on the third place. Fourth, we have Bob, who is going to live or die in the next 3 minutes by what happens here to Kodak. You can see this 10-minute candle had a little bit of a spike lower to save him. But yes, is back to highs here. Zoom in a little bit. We only got 3 minutes left. Let's look at one minute chart.
You invite Andy.
So
So get ready for an interview invite to Andy.
Yeah.
He's gonna be showing up in third place. He's gonna tell us how he did it.
I'll get you on here. And with Andy too, I haven't seen any insane YOLOs. I'm gonna go creep into your account, Andy. It seems dirtier when I can talk to you in person.
Creep.
So 13 symbols. One open trade right now. A Kodak. Andy just short at 400,000 shares of Kodak at 531. So waited for everyone else to get blown out. Just trying to get that last 2-minute play. It's only down. Oh, it's flat now. So basically at this price, $2.1 million. So Andy stepping up to the plate here. None of this conservative stuff. If I look at the rest of the trades, it's 100,000 shares of CXAI. It's 100,000 shares of Snail, both like $1-2 stocks. And then, at the end of the competition, he goes, screw it, 400,000 shares of a $5 stock for $1.2 million short in this Kodak.
Yesterday too.
So, that's, so now we're watching. Now we're watching Andy here. So it's between Andy and Bob.
Sub 1 minute. The horses are in the stretch.
And for people who are wondering about the tournament, we have a system in place that right at 4 Eastern, it will pause the scoreboard. I'm going to take a screenshot of it, and I'm going to be emailing the winners. But so it doesn't matter what happens at 5:01, at 5 o'clock. That's the pencils down, end of the day moment.
I just saw Oliver close his last trade.
Oh, at this point, you're right.
Yeah.
I'm not doing anything at this point.
Better. He's definitely on the ball over there. Yeah. Well, congratulations, Oliver. Ding, ding, ding. You are the winner.
So just to summarize where we are here, I'm just taking a screenshot for all the top people, and you'll get emails from me. So we have Oliver making $1 million. So that's 150% gain on a $400,000 account in 2 days. And then we have Lazar, who, again, took the afternoon off, still squeaked in a second place. Mr. G2, we talked about him. He was at the
Last minute,
top of the leaderboard. Last minute,
finished top
clawed his
3.
way back to top 3. Let's go here. What was he doing? Was it also Kodak? No, he rode that. So while we were watching Kodak, that LVTX must have taken a move. Yep. So that's what that's a 1 minute
did.
chart, but yeah, so he took a massive almost 1 million share short on that one to get himself back into third place. We have our very own Andy at fourth place. Bob slides all the way into fifth, but Bob, I'd still like to have a chat with you if you're cool with that. We have Ed, Ed was on here for a while, just very quiet. Erica came out of nowhere at the back end. I did not get to overtake the CEO of Trade Ideas, Dan, who I'm sure is, if I go over to Slack right now, is probably talking crap already. And then we have Paul, our winner from the last one, coming back. Paul, I'd love to talk to you as well. I really think if you're on a contest with, I'm looking here, a couple hundred people in it, twice in a row, both Lazar and Paul, and you can make it to that leaderboard twice, that shows me that you're using Trade Ideas and you're doing something that's working out for you. That is something that people should know, right? People should emulate, as trading is a very lonely kind of a job. So it's, we see Oliver here in chat. Oliver gives us a holy cow in here, right in chat. So Oliver, please, I'm going to call you out right now in front of all the people on streams. Will you come on? Will you come on and have a chat with me probably sometime next week, and we'll talk about your awesome winnings. And of course, I'll be emailing you to get you your $2,400 Amazon gift card, and we'll get that all paid and sent to you. So congratulations, Oliver, who has just joined into chat here. Oliver says sure. So yeah. So yeah, Oliver says sure, he is okay with getting interviewed, so that's great. So you guys should see that on the channel within the next few weeks. We launch a new interview on the channel each and every Monday or Tuesday, sorry. So Tuesday and a couple Tuesdays from now, you'll see that. We'll get to see how Oliver did it. I'll hit up my buddy Lazar again, who I interviewed last time. If he was cool with being interviewed last time, I'm sure it'll be this time. But yeah, very awesome work. So Steve,
My observation, if you participated in this, we've focused a lot on the winners. Anybody who did this and put themselves through 3 days worth of multiple trades and forced themselves to go short, and if you finished net green, you have had a personal victory, in my opinion. So you got a great 3-day learning curve shortener, if you will, I think, just by trying something new and seeing the results.
well, and I wanted to, yeah, I was done doing the screen share, but let's actually pop back here for a second. So this is a SPY, right? This is the overall market. And it'd be one thing if the market was tanking and you did 3 days of trading and you made money, but right, we're up a little bit in those 3 days. Flat, boring market, but we're up a little bit. So I think you should be doubly impressed with yourself, because if whatever you're doing to short when the market is flat to up is making you money, then it just only makes sense to me that you should continue to do that, because when we have a down market, which I know seems like it's impossible right now, but it certainly will happen at some point, you're arming yourself with a tool to say, okay, I can make money even when the market is against me. So I see a lot of congratulations, a lot of great job, Oliver's, a lot of, hand claps and firm handshakes and high fives all around. So that's awesome. You're muted again, maybe, Steve.
Accidentally muted. You'll have to ask him when you interview were you listening to us in the final 10 minutes, 20
Yeah,
minutes?
I see some stuff there. So no, yeah. Any last words for the people?
No, that was my last words. If you finished green and took part in this, give yourself a good pat on the back. You did good. You learned something with no money risked, and that's pretty good.
Yeah, same. This was a lot of fun. I always enjoy these. We're not done. We're only getting started. This is something that, as a company, we really, really are all on board for, because not only is it fun, right? We got a couple hundred people here at one point, over 100. So we got some good hype. We get our name out there as a company, but more importantly, we teach people how to trade in a safe environment. If you're one of those people who blew up half your account, okay, it's fake money, right? You learned a lesson, you take a note in your journal, and you move on. So, yeah, we're only getting started. I am super thrilled for this. I can't wait for the interviews. So make sure, if you're here, please do a subscribe, do a like, do a share, all those things that influencers and YouTubers tell you how to do. Thank you, everyone, for coming by. Thank you, Steve, for being my co host. And I'll talk to you guys soon.